everyone, you're with Christine and Ask Your Angels, and today we have special guest Jill Michelle on Angel Awakenings. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
So Jill, how old were you when you first heard angels?
Oh, probably very young, even before I remember. But as early as I remember, I heard angels speaking to me.
So you were telling me about when you used to play hide and seek.
Yes, when I would play hide and seek, the angels would tell me, you know, to hide behind a tree, say for instance, in a really like obvious place, and I would think like, there's no way, you know, the person's going to find me for sure, and yet they never did. They would go everywhere else except you know, behind the tree where I was standing in pretty much open view. So yeah, they've helped me a lot through my life.
So when you first heard angels, did you question it? Did you know what it was?
I just thought it was normal for everybody to hear angel voices in their heads. I didn't know it was angels. I just knew that it was something that really helped me a lot, and if I followed their advice, I was always safe and happy. And but I didn't know that it was angels until much later.
So you actually had a spiritual awakening. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I can. I was riding a horse in a jumping lesson, and I'd just gone over the one jump, and the jumps weren't spaced properly. So when I landed from the first jump, the second jump was right in front of me, and the horse, she couldn't do anything except try. You know, she was already galloping along, so we were going at a pretty fast pace, and she tried to take off to do what she's supposed to do, but she ended up, her legs caught up underneath the jump, and the pole started flying in front of my face and her face, and her hind legs got caught up in the jump, and I could tell just from the way she was landing that she was going to land on me, and I landed smack on the ground.
What was going through your mind as this was happening?
Well, I was lying there flat on the ground with my arms pinned under me, and I couldn't move because I just couldn't move, and I knew she was going to land on me. I thought I was going to get crushed. I didn't necessarily know I was going to die or anything, but I knew I would be probably maimed for life or whatever. It's like, you know, an 1,100-pound animal landing on you, like, you know.
Yeah, it's not a good day.
Not a good day. So anyway, just as I was lying there, I could feel these invisible hands, I would call them, on my shoulders, pulling me forward through the sand. It was almost like a hovercraft, just moving me forward. And at that point, she landed. I could hear her landing on the ground, and her shoulders came up in about mid-thigh on me, and her neck was right over the back of me, and she was breathing on my neck like this. It's like, and her legs were out in front of me, clawing up the sand. And anyway, she got up, and then I got up, and I was fine. And I thought, like, that was really a very strange experience, and I thought, you know, thank you, whoever helped me out here. But then
it's always important to thank your angels every time you feel they're helping you.
Absolutely.
Because they like gratitude just like we do.
That's right, yes, yeah. And so then I had to find out what it was. I thought, like, okay, I need to know what this is. And as it usually happens, you know, when you need some information, then that information will come to you. I just met this friend of mine. How did that come to you? Well, I just met this new friend of mine who became a very good friend, and she believed in angels, and she said, oh, that was your guardian angel.
So you had kind of someone here as a guide on earth, probably sent to help you.
Well, and she had this amazing woman coming to her place from out west who does angel readings, and this woman, Christiana, she actually died, went to heaven, and came back and said, I'm not going back to earth unless I can hear you angels the same way as I can hear you now. So she came back, and she does angel readings and all that stuff. Anyway, I went to see her, and she said that it was definitely my guardian angel who saved me. And I told her at the time, like, I was hearing all the voices, and they were getting louder and louder, and it was like a party in my head, which was not really great.
No. Been there.
Yeah.
It's like going into a crowded conference room, and they're all talking at once, and you can't quite make out what it is. And when you're a child, it's pretty frightening, especially when you for those of you who don't know what it's all about. Like
mhm.
when I was growing up, people didn't talk about this sort of thing.
No.
So I didn't
no.
know what this was.
Right, yeah. So anyway, she told me that there were so many angels around my head that I'd have to be deaf not to hear them. And I thought, okay, that's what it is. That's a good thing. And then she told me how to, line them up one by one so I could speak and hear, one by one each angel. And so then that's when I started to really start meditating and starting to develop this skill as, so I could do angel readings, I guess, is what it ended up being. I didn't know that at the time. But
is that a good way for our viewers who want to open up and be more aware and hear the angels' voices? What methods should they take to do that?
Well, I can only go by how I learned it. And the very first thing I needed to learn was to sort of stop the ego from controlling my whole being, and let the soul come forward. And so I went through quite a few different ways to try and figure that out. Finally I got it, and actually I'm going to be speaking about that next Thursday, February the 2nd.
Where?
Up in Orangeville.
Yeah, Jill's from Orangeville, by the way, if you're in the area.
Yeah.
And how would they go about signing up for a workshop if they wanted to?
They would. The group is called Orangeville Wings of Love. And you can
I love that name.
Isn't that good?
It's a beautiful name.
Yeah, thanks. And they can just sign up for that in the meetup, meetup.com, and you go on there and you become a member for free, and then you just go to the Orangeville Wings of Love and sign up for that. Or they could go on my website, jillmichelle.ca, and that is also it's got the information on there as well.
Great.
But what I'm going to be doing is taking all the different aspects of the things that I had to learn, in order to get where I am now, and teach each meeting that will be a different subject. And I'm going to do workshop. It's like a workshop where people will get more information. Like I introduce it in my newsletter, which is also on the website, and then expand on that at the meetup group, and then do also meditations and visualizations to help people to be able to do this work. And it's something that whoever's motivated to do this work, you can, these exercises you can take home with you and do them and really expand your knowledge very quickly. So I hope it all works really well.
I've seen Jill's newsletter. It's really great. It's complimentary. Please, again, her website will appear at the bottom of the screen. So if you'd like to receive this newsletter, please check out her website and sign up. And it's got some really fantastic things in there. So I think you'll like that. When you do readings, what are the most common energies that come through?
Mostly, well, I do most of the readings from, they call themselves the 12th level angels. And Archangel Michael, he comes a lot. He comes to do the cutting of the negative ties, and fill his energy into the person.
He's my favorite.
Oh, I love him.
I do too. Let me ask you, do you get a vision of him? Because we were talking about it last week, and I think I know the answer based on what you... Oh, yeah, I do.
Oh, he's a heartthrob.
I know. I said it was Veronica who was on the show last week, and I was saying, or last Wednesday, and I was saying how I always picture him like one of those long-haired guys on the cover of the romance novel.
Oh, yeah.
That's how he comes to me, though.
Right, yeah.
Do you get that?
He comes to me in his beautiful blue clothing, and he's gorgeous.
He's
really.
hot.
He's hot.
So Archangel Michael for those lonely nights. Okay.
And just the feeling he gives me, it's just
protection.
Totally. And
don't you feel so protected?
Yes, definitely.
He does. Yeah. He's like, and you know what? When you think about it, for women, maybe this is why we have this romantic idea that this is our perfect guy in our head, that he's going to protect us and look after us. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's because we know about Archangel Michael.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm getting a thumbs up from Tech Guy. I don't know what that is. Okay.
And also, I know a couple of times where he's really protected me. I've seen him leading a person who was about to hurt one of my kids. I saw him actually leading him away. I saw Archangel Michael leading him away and up the stairs, and I thought, thank you, Archangel Michael. But it was very, you know, it was just like he, you know, it was amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah, yeah. So,
protector of children as well.
yes, and of, you know, everybody, really, everybody who needs it, I think.
When you're communicating with your guardian angels, what is the best way to do this? Like how, if you're asking for something, or like for me, I've always learned that when you're asking something of your angels to be very specific. What's your take on that?
I guess what I also, like during the readings, I get a lot of questions about this, and what the main answer is, like first of all, you need to, if you're going to do it, you want to do it regularly, you know, you've got to start the meditations and be quiet within yourself.
And grounded?
Grounded. Yeah.
How do you ground?
I do a meditation with Mother Earth energy coming up one side and then down the other side, and releasing all negative things. I sort of feel myself as in a cloud, like in a dark cloud. And
a dark cloud?
Yeah. And that's all the negativity that needs to come out.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And then the Mother Earth energy comes up. It's really like a beautiful greenish color for me. And it can
Which
be
is
any
very
color.
healing.
It can be any
Isn't
color.
that
Some
Raphael? Do you associate
yes,
that
yes,
with?
yeah. But some people, you know, during the reading, I'll see it like a pink for somebody or an orange for somebody else. So it just depends. You know, I think what color is is purposely for that person. You know, like different colors, like color therapy.
Yes.
You know, things
kind of like
that.
your aura type thing.
Yeah, and certain colors can do. I haven't done color therapy, but I've heard about it. And certain colors will make you feel a certain way. So whatever that person needs, I think, at that time, is what color comes through for.
So you get a greenish color.
So I get a beautiful greenish color coming up, and I bring up my one leg across the top and then down the other side and pushing that negative cloud out. Because, you know, negativity is always coming up, right? And then you release that, and then you're good for maybe, you know, hopefully 10 minutes or so for your meditation before the next comes up. But
I always start here, like when I do it, and I think everyone will find their best way. But I always start here, and I rub my third eye.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know why, and then I kind of, and as I go down my body like this, and as I do, I get chills every time I do it. Like I know it's working. If you get chills, that's a very good sign.
Yeah.
And then I push it it out like this, and I do this, and I'm cut right now. Full of chills, and you just feel all that negativity disappear.
Right.
You know what I just did? We've just charged the energy in the room. we were laughing earlier because we'd done this show before, and we technologically screwed up our audio from all of the energy that was in the room from all of our angels. So we actually had to ask before the show, "Okay, guys, tone it down today because we really want this to work out."
That's right, yes,
But I think I'm tingling all over.
Okay.
I think
I'm
that was a
tingling now
no-no.
too, so you better stop.
So if the computer shut down, that's where we've gone.
Oh dear.
Okay, so you're meditating and you have the green glow going through and everything.
And that's the grounding, and also the beautiful energy coming through, which is the healing energy. And then I just clear my mind, like pick out thoughts gently. Like don't get mad at the thoughts, because then, you know, you get more and more. So just gently pick them out. Not interested, thank you. And
Please
just
go away.
allow. And there's certain meditations I do, like there's the stillness within meditation, which I'm going to be teaching, you know, during the Orangeville Wings of Love meetup group. And that's just like you really focus on the inner being, which is your soul, and that really it just really expands. I won't do it now. For the technological, for the tech person, you won't do that. And but yeah, it's really amazing. And then the information just flows. But for a lot of people, I find if they're not too open during the daytime, at nighttime when you're sleeping, is a really good time, because your mind is just not, it's dreaming still, but it's not as focused on everything that's going on during the daytime. And then sometimes at first I would even write a question down. What should I do about going back to school for, you know, a certain course or whatever I was
before going to bed?
Before going to bed.
Slip it under your pillow?
No, I put it right beside my, so it's open there so they can, you know, just in case they don't want to go under the pillow, you know. Kidding. But I just leave it on my bedside table.
I kind of like to think Michael would go under my pillow.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe I'll leave it under my pillow from now on.
But we have a very special relationship, Jill.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. So, and then the answer, so the answer would come to me, at 2 in the morning. I'd be wide awake, thinking, "Oh, that's a great thing." I'd write it down, but then sometimes go back to sleep, sometimes not. So I've asked him to tell me in the morning, just like 10 minutes before the alarm clock goes off, because morning, is 1 in the morning still, right? So that I remember. But
and this works. Does it work every time? Pretty much.
If you're ready to hear the answer, like that's the thing. Like you need to ask, like for free. The angels, as we are, bound by the law of free will. So you can ask the question, but if you're not ready to hear the answer, it's not going to come, right? Mm-hmm. So, but if you're ready to hear the answer, absolutely. If you're trying to decide between such and such two things, it really helps.
Oh, that's good. I'm sure there's always times when we're blocked or we're not sure of which way to turn, because our path is all these turns. I just want to say, for those of you who are joining us, you are with the Ask Your Angels talk show, and we usually air every Wednesday evening at 8:30 p.m. and Eastern Standard Time. And, or is it 8 o'clock?
It's 8:30, I think.
It's 8:30. Okay, so, but today we have a special show, and we hope you're joining us. And I'm with Jill Michelle. That's www.jillmichelle.ca. And we are talking about angelic awakenings.
I just wanted to mention again that the law of free will, if you want your angels to help you, then you need to ask them, because that's the way it works. Right?
And be very specific in your question.
And they really want to help. Like I see them hanging around people, like just chomping at the bit, wanting to help, and they so give your angels something to do, make them happy.
There's a lot of people I know from people who come to me for readings that they don't feel they're worthy of asking, or if a lot of people out there, of course, want to ask for money. So I know for myself, I never feel good about asking for money. Well, and yet I've learned that they want you to. They don't want you to be without.
No, they want us all to be abundant.
Yes.
And so that's why I ask for abundance. Yeah.
How's that working out for you?
Well, I get a lot of
spiritual
abundance, like a lot of energy coming into me. Like every morning I wake up, I'm just like filled with this beautiful energy. So maybe that's where it starts. I'm hoping for.
It's the law of attraction.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And sometimes too, I think that I believe that we actually plan our lives. Like before we're born, we decide this is what's going to happen to me in this life, because we're here to learn. If you believe reincarnation and coming back over time, and you're here to learn a lesson, maybe part of that lesson is being without money this lifetime.
Exactly. And I find a lot of people, it's either a physical, that we come with challenges because this is what our soul needs to do in order to learn the whole gamut of what is, we come back again and again and again until we've learned everything that we can possibly learn, and then we don't need to come back again.
How many more lives do you have left?
I don't even want to ask. But I believe the lives get better and better and better. So
I do too.
Yeah.
Because
look at how the world has been. Like, the past has been so violent, and now we're getting and
some people might disagree
around the world now. But I think
9/11 and
but I think that's all the earth changes now, so that we can ascend in December, whenever it is, 2012, December 21st, or thereabouts. But generally, there's a lot more love around, a lot more people knowing about spirituality and angels and putting that beautiful energy out there, which we never had. Like,
no. Well, the 70s. Do you think this is close to the 70s? Because that's when everyone loved everybody. And I was thinking of that the other day, how similar. What we're trying to do here is bring a spiritual community together. It's all about love and loving your neighbor and just being an all-around good person as best you can. And I think the 70s, minus the drugs,
maybe started that. Yeah, exactly.
I think maybe that was an attempt to get to where we are now.
I'm thinking the 70s, well, because they needed the drugs to get to this place.
Oh,
that
to
we're
get
at
to
now.
the higher,
Yeah.
maybe that was their
Get-
subconscious
that
way
they're
of trying to reach
trying
that
to-
higher frequency.
Right, right. And now we're able to get there without the drugs.
Yay! There's some guys out there right now watching her going, "Afraid not." You just.
But a lot of people, anyway, you know.
Yeah, that's
people-
what we're attempting,
that's what
right?
We're trying,
attempting
yes.
to
Yeah,
try to get you to that higher frequency.
So you don't need your
through
drugs.
yoga, Reiki, meditation,
Right.
without the drugs or stimulants to get you there, or the Jolt Cola.
And because the drugs always have the after effect.
Yeah,
Whereas the spirituality just keeps you lifting you up higher and higher and higher all
and
the
they're
time.
equally addictive. But ours is a good addiction.
Yes, that's right. It's true. I hadn't thought of it as an addiction before, but it's true, and I can't wait to...
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like that for me because the more fantastic, wonderfully beautiful people I'm meeting, it just seems the more you open yourself up to this, the more that comes to you. I'm living an incredible life right now because I guess it is kind of the law of attraction. I'm just bringing so many really warm, good people to me. It's great. So now going back to 2012, December, do you believe then that we are in a period of ascension right now?
Yes, I do. I can feel it. I can feel the earth energy changing. And that's why this meditation that we did at the beginning is really good, because that grounds you to the Mother Earth's energy as it's changing. And so you don't get left behind.
Yeah. So for viewers who aren't familiar with, because we have a different audience possibly today, people that aren't familiar with Ascension, can you give them a little idea of what that is?
It's Mother Earth energies, and it's not just the Mother Earth, it's the whole universe is really ascending. That's what I get. And Mother Earth is coming along with the universe. And everybody who's on Earth also. So we've been living in a third dimensional world up until recently, which is all, tactile, people only knowing what they can touch and feel and see is what they believe. Whereas now, the fourth dimension, which pockets of the Earth are already in fourth dimension, and there's certainly pockets of third dimensional still, where the fighting's going on, and the people who are also into the third dimension, like, the ones who are so bent on making money. I'm not talking about you. But you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying all of them, but, a lot of the CEOs and a lot of these people who are running companies who are not thinking of the little guy. They're running over people.
It's all about power and money and greed.
The power and money and greed people.
Money, everybody wants money to... Like for myself, I just want enough to feel secure, that my family's safe, that I have food on the table, a roof over my head. Other than that, maybe a little bit to have some good experiences. But other than that, money, it really does not buy you happiness. It really doesn't.
But it could help a lot. But what I'm saying is, don't run over people. So
after the show, send us all your money now.
But what I'm saying is, the people who are greedy enough to hurt other people on their money making,
they're newbies.
Scheme. Yeah,
it's probably their first few times around the Earth.
Maybe, yeah, or they just haven't learned.
They haven't learned.
Or they've been here a long time and haven't learned. So anyway, the fourth dimensional pockets is when you start your spiritual journey. Is when you start into the fourth dimension, like clearing negativity, bringing in the light. And that's when you start, like, any energy incoming is fourth dimensional. And so then if you become fourth dimensional, you're living in love, you're living in joy, peace, you're living in abundance of what you already have, and then you're bringing in more all the time. It's the law of attraction. The more you put out there of love and joy and peace and abundance, the more it's going to come back into you. And so when you start living like that, that is living in the fourth dimension. And always living in, even when awful things happen, you think they're awful, but if you can go through it in a place of love, it's so much better.
It is.
So much more peaceful and joyful and better for all the people around you, and then you're not creating any negative karma for yourself or for others.
I find that if you, like, I always believe everything happens for a reason. So when I'm going through these hard times or challenges, first I think, okay, this is a past life experience coming back to me karmically. This is something I have to get through to balance things out. So that's a positive. So that's a blessing that I'm wrapping this up in this life. So that's, it's looking for the blessings no matter how hard it is. It could be, okay, this is something that I'm going through because I chose before I was born to go through this because I'm going to come out of this learning something. If you look back on things that have happened in your life and, you know, they were very negative, I would guarantee for the most part you can see some sort of lesson that you learned or something that you've taken away from that or grown your character because of it. Like, I think it's all can be very positive. It's just how you look at it. And if you look at it that way, you deal with things a lot better too.
A lot better.
You become happier and not so dragged down by why me? Why is this happening? Why isn't it getting better? Hey, I lived that. I think we all have gone through that, but I don't do that anymore, and I'm so happy.
Me too. It makes a huge difference. What I wanted to say too was once you're into the living in love, I call it just really basically it's living in love when you're in the fourth dimension. Then the fifth dimension, from what I understand, is all just, you know, you'll be drawn into the fifth dimension pretty much automatically from living in love. And every so often when I go riding my horse out in the forest, I can feel like things just change and they say you're going into the fifth dimension now, and it's just like everything becomes brighter, the colors become brighter.
It's like the Celestine prophecy. Have you seen that?
A long time ago. But
at the end of the movie where they're teaching him, okay, this is one of the what's it called? One of the insights is perceiving heaven on earth. And all of a sudden they show how the earth just, it's like he's looking at a scan of the earth and he's going from here, and as he's looking across, it's getting brighter and brighter and more beautiful, and he sees heaven all around him. You know, if you haven't seen Celestine Prophecy, go see it, or get the video. It might seem a bit slow, but I'm telling you, it is phenomenal. I hear the book's nice, but I think the visual
I think
is wonderful.
I've heard the book is really good because you can go slowly and really expand on what is in the book.
Maybe do both.
Both would be good. And I was thinking of something while you were talking, but and so it's so much more beautiful.
You were hanging on my every word. You were thinking of something else.
No, I was. But it is like, that's what I feel is going to be the fifth dimension is heaven on earth.
I believe that too. Right now it's hell on earth.
Well, no, there's good pockets.
Yeah.
A good pocket here. Right?
We're in the safe haven.
Yes,
we're kind of transitioning between the two.
But there are definitely a lot of terrible things happening on Earth. But those things need to, it's like the challenge, you know, if you describe the things happening on Earth as also in our lives, and bad things happen to us, you turn it around into something positive. You know, negative things are happening out in the world, but they will be turned around into something positive in the end, and we'll be able to look back and say, oh, okay, so that's why that happened, and it was all, you know, for a reason.
Yeah. I was telling Jill before the show about the sound. We talked briefly about it on our last show, but there's a sound that's going around the world, and people are hearing it. Now, I have a conception of what I think it is, and I was hoping to show it to Jill before the show. She has not heard the sound, but she did get a feeling from her angels on what it meant. What
I got was that it's universal energy being, I guess, like transmitted down to Earth for us to start raising our vibration and the vibration of Mother Earth. And I've always thought, you know, around March or so, that things are going to start to ascend at a much more faster rate.
That's funny. I was getting March too.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Right. Yeah,
it's exciting.
It is exciting. Yeah. And what I wanted to say too was that even if people don't believe in the Ascension, by you know becoming more enlightened, like by doing all the different things that we need to do in order to become more open and more loving, you're going to have a better life anyway. Like even
it's a win-win.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. It is.
Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the sound, if you go on YouTube and you look up the sound, I think that's it, but it's got different sounds. Some people are saying it's like a metal groaning. I heard it when I listened. It was more like but it was a very uplifting and then it sounded a bit like trumpets and then I thought I heard angels singing. It's very, very minute, but what I was getting was, because we're reaching a higher frequency, the veil between heaven and or earth and the other dimensions is becoming thinner. And for me, it felt like I'm hearing heaven. I'm hearing messages from heaven. And it was so uplifting and so exciting. And that's why I was so anxious for you to hear it.
Right.
I wanted to hear your take.
Right.
But for those of you who have heard it, if you're out there, please feel free to chat in questions for myself or Jill. If you have any thoughts on the sound, share them with us. We'd love to hear from you. And going back to communicating with your angels.
I was just going to say, too, there's going to be other sounds coming. Like, this is just the beginning. That's what I'm getting, that there's going to be more and more sounds coming, which will help us to raise our vibration to continue on with where Mother Earth is going and where the universe is going to. So,
I believe that, too.
Yeah.
I feel a sense of urgency, and in starting these shows, I was speaking with John Stewart, who's been on our show, and he said people in the spiritual world are feeling a sense of urgency, that we need to do this quickly to get into that higher dimension. And when I think of it, I always picture like Noah's Ark, and everybody scrambling to get on the ark after the doors have closed. And that's how it feels. It's we don't want to leave anyone behind, and we want all of us to be together in this. So, and that's what we're trying to do week after week is just bring you everything we can to help raise your frequency.
And I was thinking too, well, this came to me one time, if the meetup group goes well in Orangeville, the Orangeville Wings of Love, and if I had other people joining from, say, Burlington or Guelph, or, somewhere not too far away from Orangeville, that it would start other meetings there and get a whole bunch of people on the same wavelength and get everybody starting to really be able to get into that fourth dimension and that living in love.
That's a great idea. We've started one, actually. We have the Ask Your Angels BizNet group, and we meet every Wednesday morning from 10 a.m. until noon at Zarki's Plaza, or at the Symposium Cafe Burlington, which is behind Zarki's Plaza. It is just west of Appleby Line off Upper Middle. So if you are in the Burlington area, if you're spiritual, if you're in the holistic field, if you have something you want to share or want to join in on topics like we are right now, please join us. And if you're out closer to Orangeville, the Wings of Love meetup is also available to you, and all the details are on Jill's website, which is at the bottom of your screen.
And it's the first Thursday of every month, and it's right on Main Street, Orangeville. So
that's a beautiful street too. They
is,
have nice little shops, little cafes. So make a day of it. It's a great place to go. Orangeville. I was telling Jill, Highway 10 is just so beautiful, especially in the spring and summer, and I call it my happy place. Fall.
It is beautiful.
We have the Forks of the Credit. Just beautiful. So you have horses up there.
One horse?
One horse. Yeah. Well, that answers my question. I was going to say, when people come for reading, do they get a horse ride thrown in?
No, not a horse ride, but sometimes we go over and pat him and just say hello.
What's his name?
He's Jack Be Nimble.
Aww. Cute.
Yeah.
That sounds like a racehorse.
Oh, he was.
Was he?
He was a racehorse. He was bred to race, but he didn't actually race because he hurt his ankle. So, which is a good thing for me, because so many times they come off the track and they're injured, like for life. So, but he's just a great guy, and he really connects me through to Mother Earth. Really.
Is this the same horse that almost fell on you, or not?
No.
That's good. Is this one
that
slightly
was 10,
thinner?
11 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this a smaller horse, just in case?
No, he's not. But
man, after that experience, I'd be getting myself a pony.
Why do you think I called him Nimble? Because I didn't want him to be falling. It's like, okay, be nimble, please, because they always say horses live up to their name.
Oh. So why not call him Jack? Get off of me.
So I don't want him to be on me in the first place.
Okay.
But what I was going to say too about sound. Now, I did go to a woman who did sound therapy.
Oh yes, you were telling me about this.
And it really raised my vibration. I could really feel it. And she went through it. It was called biosynthesis. sound something or other. Wish I could
Okay,
remember.
biosound something or other.
That sounds really professional, doesn't it?
That sounds awesome.
But she hooked me up to some machine, and anyway, she told me, I think it was the letter C, or the, what do you call it, the note C.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a music person. And G, and I was supposed to, hear these sounds, and that was supposed to raise my vibration, and also fix my organs. There were a certain one was attached.
Is that a
to
play on words?
kidney
An organ,
or
music?
No, the truth. Yeah, no, because she said this sound will help my, I think it was the liver at the time, or whatever.
Is it because it's all vibrational and it brings you back into sync kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So to balance your whole system. So what I'm getting is the sounds that are coming are universal sounds. Like they're going all over the universe, but they're to help us to balance ourselves so that we can move forward in our spiritual endeavors.
And you were telling me she had forks.
Oh, this is a different woman.
Oh, it's a different woman.
Yes,
Tell us a bit about the woman with the forks, because I thought that was pretty fascinating.
The tuning forks.
Tuning forks.
And I don't even know what number. It was a big one, about this big. And she.
Do they look like the fork we eat with?
No.
Oh,
the tuning fork just has two
prongs.
Prongs, yeah. And then you hold on to there's one at the bottom that you hold on to. I'd hit it, and it was like, it would just bring me a very low sound. And just bring me so much relaxation. And I could just feel it kind of reverberating through my whole body.
Wow, that's so neat. Is that something you think people could get on eBay, or are they special? Like, are they made specially?
These were pretty special. Yeah. I think, I'm not sure where they're made or anything, but I'm going to ask my friend.
Do you have her name in case people want to look her up?
Yeah, Lily Peterson.
Is she in Orangeville as well?
She doesn't really normally do the tuning forks. So I don't know that she would. She took a course from this woman, and I'll have to give it to you.
Well, we'll have to.
So when they tune in next week, you can tell them. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that. Or I'll put it on the blog. We have a blog after every show that I write. So if you'd like to check that out, it's also on our screen, and you can see all of our past guests and little reviews, or how do you call it, summaries of our show, and most of them all have the videos posted to YouTube, so you can also see past shows that we've done. And going back to angels, I wanted to ask you, how familiar are you with Metatron? Because he's the
heard his name, but not
apparently he oversees all the archangels. I was told I have a link with Metatron, so I was just curious.
Oh, I'll have to ask
But
about
see,
him.
It's funny, because this was new to me, too. I mean, I hadn't heard of him before.
Right, yeah.
He's very powerful, though, because I was told that all of my, I have a lot of power in my right hand for healing, that I'm not, this was Veronica told me this, I was not tapping into it.
Right.
And the other night I had a major leg cramp, like the muscles were tearing. I was in agony.
Right.
And it was right after she said you can heal yourself, so I actually put my leg up on the bed and I put my hand, I talked to Metatron, put my hand under it. 3 minutes later, completely gone.
Wow.
But I had the same kind of pain in my other leg, and every time months ago, and every time I walk, it still hurts. This, no repercussions, anything. It just, it's amazing. If you believe that you can heal something, you probably can.
And that's another point, which is really important, is positive thinking. Whenever you have, like, say you put it out there that you want money, but you feel you're not worthy of getting the money, you're not going to get it,
It's true.
So positive thinking is really important for moving forward up the ladder. And every time, for instance,
we have a question.
Oh, okay.
That thought. We have a question.
Sorry.
The question we have online is: can angels appear in your dreams?
Yes.
If so, is there a specific reason they do?
Yes, often angels can appear in your dreams to give you a special message, an important message. It can be just that they appear, or they can also bring a message to you, sometimes through feeling, sometimes through words. Sometimes I get it like a word written down. That's
significant.
It's very significant.
If this happens a lot, keep a dream journal.
Definitely.
Those are great.
Yes. Yeah, keep a dream journal. And then sometimes it'll be several dreams together, and then you'll get the whole picture of what they're trying to tell you.
You piece it together like a puzzle.
That's right.
And they come to you at night when you're dreaming because you're more open. You know, all the busyness that's in your head during the day isn't there, so it's the best time. I believe loved ones come to us a lot that way too.
I agree. Yes, definitely.
So moving forward, how does fasting help?
Fasting is really important too. It's the same thing as you know, the angels coming to you when you're sleeping at night. It's just one less thing that your body's doing. Is you know, so if you take away the digestive,
your body's busy trying to break it all down,
and break it down, and it's busy doing that. So when you're fasting, your body becomes very clear, and it's much easier for the delicate energies to be felt by you or heard by you. So that's really why I fast. But fasting for me is more, it's not like I don't eat anything. You know, I eat like one thing. Like I'll maybe have oranges only. So you're just digesting one thing.
Okay. So not 100% fast. You
no.
cheat a little.
Yeah,
kind of like those angels who were helping you with the hide and seek. I'm not judging, but you know, that doesn't seem fair to the other kids.
Well, I think they were trying to gain my confidence. Really,
okay.
So that I would, because at that point I would listen to them sometimes and not other times, and they wanted to really for me to understand that they really could help me.
Right.
Because so many times people are given intuition and they don't follow it.
It's true. Sometimes we just don't trust it.
We don't trust ourselves. We think at the time that you get the intuition, you think, wow, and also in the morning when people wake up, they think, wow, this is what I should do. But then their ego starts thinking about it. You know, their ego mind starts thinking, well, you know, there's this problem with it and that, and oh, it's not really real. So it's really important when you do get intuition to follow that, because then the angels can bring you more intuition. You know, if you ignore it, they kind of go back to the drawing board kind of thing, and you think, okay, well, how are we going to get our attention this time?
Well, and I always say to people too, a lot of people say, why don't I hear angels? And I always say, well, when you're hearing, if you're not open to hearing messages, it's kind of like if I were to talk to you right now, hey Jill, how's your day going? And you ignore me. And I'm going to try a little harder. Jill, hello, how's your day going? And still nothing. You know, pretty soon you're going to kind of say, okay, well, you're going to walk away. And,
that's right.
You know, the minute angels know that you're listening, wow, you're going to be overwhelmed with what comes through.
That's right.
So just going back, for those of you who have just joined our show, you're with the Ask Your Angels Talk Show, and I'm here with Jill Michelle. We're doing a show on angelic awakenings, and it's everything angel. If you have any questions, please chat them into us. We would love to hear from you, and any questions that you have would be great. So going back to when you're sleeping, because we're saying when you're asleep, you don't have all the noise in your head. It's the best time for your angels to give you messages. What happens if you are astral traveling at the time, or do you believe in astral travel? Oh, hold that thought. We have a question.
We've got a question again. Is there a difference between angels and ghosts?
Huge difference, yes.
Huge.
Yeah. Angels are actual light beings that are connected to higher source, or whatever it is that you believe in. You know, God, Great Spirit, whatever. They're connected to the universe. Whereas ghosts are people,
loved ones who passed,
who haven't seen the light yet. You know, they're not able. And if you fall off your path, really, I don't know if you feel this too, but what I see is people falling off their light path, you know, midlife or end of their life or whatever, and then they can't see the light once they pass over. And so they need to hang around Earth until they can find enough love within them to see the light, and then they can go.
And then also some people choose to stay behind because of loved ones, or to make sure that they're okay before they move on. We've also talked about people that might have cancer, who are so heavily drugged, they might not really quite understand that they've passed on, and sometimes at that point need help going into the light.
And also people who are in like a war situation, like they're just traumatized and so overwhelmed with what's going on, they don't realize that they've passed yet. But those are all recent passings that we're talking about, like the people who hang around make sure that their loved ones are
Oh
okay.
yeah, they don't hang around forever.
It's not because they can't see the light so much.
No,
It's because
I was
they
giving
want to
a
make
difference.
Sure.
Yeah,
But that's very true. Yeah. But the ghosts really are people who need help.
yeah.
Really to move on.
Okay,
So I do that too.
that's nice.
House clearings and it's
Very important.
Such an amazing feeling when they actually see the light and they go and they're like, oh, thank you so much. It's just so beautiful, you know, to be able to help someone like that.
I saw someone go into the light. I'll tell you about that in a sec because we have another question.
Oh, sorry.
Another question's come up. Is there something you can do to help angels talk to you?
Yes, there's a lot of things you can do, but what I found the most important for me was the meditation and grounding myself, because when I was grounded, I would be able to hear. If I was upset or uptight about anything, you have to release all the negativity
And
just
tired.
be open and
If you're fatigued, like that's not the best time. I don't do readings if I'm really, really tired because I know it's going to be hard to bring things in. I think, when you're rejuvenated or you've had just a nap, or meditation will do that for sure. And things will come a lot better. Maybe for people that have just joined us, maybe you can just quickly let them know again what the grounding is, the clearing, like meditation that you do.
There's a meditation. I'll just say a different one because for the
that's
other
great.
people. Often, I'll just visualize myself standing as a tree in a forest, and the roots going all the way down. My roots from my feet all the way down through the Earth's crust, down through the center to the center core of the Earth, where the molten lava is, and then all negativity coming down through myself, all the way down out my feet and down to the Earth core where it's dissolved in the molten lava, and then the sun shining on the tree,
There's
and
nothing
just the
like
light
that
coming
when the
in.
sun comes in.
Yeah, it's so beautiful, the warm feeling.
I was in the kitchen yesterday, and I was pretty deflated yesterday. I was very exhausted and tired, and when you get into that slump where you don't feel quite right. I wasn't depressed, but just and all of a sudden I had this huge beam of light come through the window and just hit me, and the warmth, and I knew this isn't just the sun. This is my angels taking care of me and saying, we're gonna make you feel better. And it did. I felt energized and. Do you know that feeling?
Absolutely.
It's so wonderful.
Yeah, I really do.
I was talking about, seeing someone move into the light. A little while ago, there was a gentleman from Hamilton who had disappeared. He was, I believe, 27. And I won't go into great detail, but there was a search for him. I helped with the search. And, in the end, they found, he had passed on. But I think the thing is he needed to be found. So sometimes for that reason people will stay behind. And I felt him around me. It was almost like I had a vision of where I thought he might be. I felt that it was like, you need to help. I want my family to know where I was.
Right.
As soon as they knew where he was, I actually had a vision of him going through a doorway. And I think the doorway is more significant for us. We relate things to doors.
Yeah.
But there was a big light behind it.
Yes,
He turned around,
yes.
he smiled at me as if to say, I'm so at peace now. And he went into the light. And what a great feeling
it's
to be
amazing.
part of that.
Isn't that?
Yeah,
so it's such a huge energetic vibration that comes
It
through.
is. It's where we're going. It's just going to be wonderful. I'm not in a hurry to get there.
No.
I've got things I always say every day. If I'm having a panic attack or something where I worry, you get stressed and you get those chest pains when you're stressed. And I always say, you know what? Not now. I have too much left to do. I'm not ready. So
That's right.
I think you have to be real clear of your intentions too. We have
Definitely.
another question.
Question just came through. If a loved one has stayed behind or if they have not gone to the light, how do you help them?
That's a good question.
Very good question. And what I find is that everybody, if they need love, they need love to go to the fourth and fifth, and also love to pass it through into the light. So what you can do is visualize your loved one and just send, like it's a hologram. That's what I do in front of me. And I send love, just send love to that person and the more they absorb, the more easy it is for them to find the light. And then you can also say, just say, look for the light, even,
Not to be cliche, go into the light.
Go into the light, exactly.
But it's true. Sometimes they stay too because our grief will hold them back. And what you need to do is, if you can pass by the grief and say, I'm okay now, I will be okay, you need to move on. Go into the light. They just need to hear it.
And sometimes I found too that people who come for readings, they feel like their husband or father is hanging around, and a few times it's been because the father or husband needs to learn still before they can move on, because they can learn things so much faster here than on the other side once they get there. And it's also something that they came here to learn that they haven't learned yet. So sometimes it's for a learning experience that they're here. But if you send them love and open the door, to the light, then they'll go if they're ready, and if they're not, they'll stick around a little bit longer.
I think too, sometimes, I believe that sometimes they've gone into the light, and then they come back just to look after us or see that we're okay. So it's not necessarily a bad thing if you can feel them here, but you should be able to feel a difference. If you feel like really kind of sadness or that grief, or then that chances are they're staying for you. I've had a few visitations from my father-in-law after he died, and it was, I actually saw him the first time, and that didn't go well. So I think he came back after that through a sense of smell. And
they'll do that too.
Yeah,
for sure.
He smoked a lot, and I smelt cigarette smoke, and we don't smoke, and it was like really, really strong. But I had just had his grandson, and I knew he was here to check up on Bryce. And I also knew that he'd passed over. So he was just coming back to say, I just want to see how things are, and just for a little visit.
And they come for visits, for sure. Yep. And if they have a message to tell you, they'll usually come during your sleep. And if they don't, if they just want to come and see how you're doing and that things are going well, they come while you're awake.
So, Jill, what can you tell us about guardian angels? Do you know the different guardian angels or what they represent, like Raphael's for healing?
And archangels? Yeah. They just come to readings when a person needs them, really. I
call them specialists.
Specialists, yes. Very good, yeah. Sometimes Archangel Raphael comes for more of a healing kind of a...
I tend to always get Archangel Michael, always, and then lately it seems more, and I think because I've always focused on Archangel Michael, I think the minute you're kind of open to anyone, then Raphael started coming in. And the other day I did a reading, and I don't know which angel this was. It was a woman. It was a female essence, and she kept pushing her way, saying, no, it's me. That's what I was getting, but I don't know which angel that was.
I get a lot of visits from the pink angel as well. She seems to come with Archangel Michael after he cuts the ties and gives the person his energy. The pink angel will come as well.
Is he purple? Does he have a purple essence?
I get bluish.
I get like a bluish purple, but then I always get pink with that. And do you think that's what it is?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've seen the purple angel as well. They come to me in more colors than names. I don't really, get the names so much. But also, I was told just recently that Archangel Raphael, he's not just, and all the angels are not just, for certain things. They can do everything. But we humans kind of want to categorize them into this category and that category.
But they do. Certain angels do seem to show more for certain, like you said, Raphael when it's a healing.
Yes.
So I think that's where it comes from too.
And yet Michael does healings too.
Well, no, he does. That's right.
So it's it's hard to say, but I think it maybe depends too on. I think each person is affiliated with a certain archangel more than others.
Yes.
And for me,
someone
Michael,
who resonates.
Yeah,
I'm with Michael too.
Yeah.
Maybe he's Archangel of the healers. Maybe. We have a question.
Oh.
Question online is kind of a two-part. How do you know if a loved one hasn't gone to the light? And then the next comment was, my mother had a dream about her father. saying he's okay now, but I feel the grief and sadness still. What does this mean?
Are you sure it's not you who's feeling the grief and sadness, and that's holding him back or making him feel that way because you're still grieving? That would be a possible take on that. What's your take on that?
Well, my take too is that, I mean, they'll get you through the biggest part of the grieving. Like, you could be grieving for many, many years.
Yeah.
So they'll get you through the biggest part of the grieving, and until they know that you're going to be okay, and then they'll go to the light. But it's your responsibility to grieve after that, and they'll keep coming back. Not your responsibility, but it's up to you to sort of go through those stages. You can't expect our loved ones to stay around for 10 years or whatever.
It's more, I think you have to look at it as, is that feeling emanating from me, resonating for me, or is it actually this spirit? I think if you came to your mother and said, I'm okay now, and this happens so often, then trust that he's okay. I mean, from everything we know, he's in a wonderful place. I mean, really, that's when I say this is hell on earth, because we're the ones who are grieving and suffering and feeling all the pain. They are not. No. They are happy. They are free. Everything that held them down on earth is gone. So just trust that he's happy. Another question?
Next question is, if you had an experience with a guardian angel, how can you find out who it was that helped you?
Well, again, do you sense any colors when this happens? Do you see colors or?
I don't. Well, I see some people's guardian angels, and maybe they're in certain colors, but
like for them, how do they assess which guardian angel it is?
Well, first of all, it doesn't matter. Just thank them anyway. Like, it doesn't matter if it was your guardian angel or your teaching angels or whoever who saved you.
Maybe the question is more, is it a guardian angel, or I always get, is it a guardian angel or a past loved one? Oh, they can't tell. Maybe that's why it matters. Do they want to know if it's a past loved one or a guardian angel?
Who's helping them? I don't know that. The guardian angels will help you if you're in an accident type thing. I don't think past loved ones can do that. I don't think they have the energy. They don't seem to be able to stick around long, past loved ones. I find that they're here for a short while and then they have to go back again to get there, because the energy on Earth is far too dense for them to stay for very long. So if somebody was helping you or saving you, it was most likely your guardian angel. And the loved ones visit and say, hey, I'm here, how you doing? And then they'll go again, Yeah. So, but your guardian angel is always with you, always around you, never leaves your side. He's always there to help you.
I believe that too. If you really want to know, you can also, again, meditate, clear yourself, ground yourself, ask your guardian angel to present themselves to you. Ask them. A lot of times I hear it, they might give you a name, but usually it's just a name they feel that you'll be comfortable with. That doesn't mean that's who they are. So that's again, true. I'm with Jill. Like, just be thankful that you have a guardian angel and that they're there for you.
And for many, many years, I just called mine like guardian angel. Like, hey, guardian angel. And then one time we were at this...
Hey, you! Big guy with the wings!
Yeah. Yo, come here! But I was at a dinner party and with some friends of ours, and the people were talking about their son, Craig. And when I got home that night, my guardian angel said to me, I like the name Craig. I said, okay. Whatever.
So and they started calling him Craig?
Well, no, I didn't even get it at that point.
Oh.
I said, whatever, And then he said...
This is when I said, hello, Jill!
That's right. He said, you can call me Craig. I said, oh, I get it. Okay, so I've called him Craig now. But again, it's a name that doesn't... I mean, I'm sure he's not known as Craig. Like, angels, they talk to each other through vibration, and they call each other like their names. They don't have names as such. They know each other through their vibration. So that's but humans like to have a name. So you can basically call your guardian angel anything you want. You can say, is it okay if I call you George or whatever, and you'll cut.
Give them a better name than George.
George.
And I
Okay.
apologize to
What's
every
wrong
George
with
out there.
George? But do this in a
I
meditation.
just think guardian angels should have
Yeah,
a much
a
more
special name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serafina.
Like
It's a
Craig.
beautiful name. Like Craig. Sure, Craig. That works.
But if you do it in a meditation, just when you're very quiet, ask them if it's okay if you call them a certain name that you like, or a name that's come to you, and you'll get like a nice feeling inside, you know, if it's a good if it's a good name, and then just go for it.
And they're here to please you. Like, they want you to be happy. So if you say, I want to call you this, they're going to be okay with that.
Absolutely.
You know, just tell them, be very precise. Hey, you angel, this is what I'm going to call you from now on, and you're good to go.
Yeah, yeah.
So going back, we were talking about they come to you in dreams, they give you messages, and I'd asked you, what can you tell us about astral traveling?
I know that a lot of people do astral traveling. It comes up in the readings a lot. And it seems like when you remember it in the morning, it's like it's a real dream. Like it's a real place where you've been. It's I ask before I go to bed at night. I say, okay, if I'm astral traveling tonight, I want to know in the morning, like, show me a video in the morning of where I went, and it'll come to me just, you know, in that space when you're not deeply, you're just coming out of your sleep, and there's that, I don't know, twilight zone kind of thing where you're not awake and you're not asleep, and that's when it comes to me as to where I've been. And often, I haven't done this for a while, but when I was doing it a lot, it was like I was traveling to other planets, helping people to do whatever it is that they needed on that planet.
I think it's wonderful. I think it was Alex Gelman was on our show. We had a whole show on dreams, which is now just been loaded to YouTube. If you'd like to see it, it's called "Dream a Little Dream with Me." And she was saying how if you want to remember your dreams, drink a lot of water before bed, because you will have to wake up in the night. Hopefully, you'll wake up in the night. You know, we're not responsible for what might happen, but if you wake up in the night to go to the washroom, that is when you know you're going to be startled out of your sleep, and you will hopefully remember what you dreamt. It's funny. I was having a conversation with my son the other day. He, for a few years now, has told me, and well, our family, that he has a lab.
Oh.
He goes to a lab at night, and this kid wakes up with circles under his eyes. He's always grumpy and tired, and I swear that's what he's doing. So he says, I have this lab, and then he tells me, oh, Mom, you know, it blew up last night.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I said, oh, dear. I said, that's not good at all. And with these stories, you know, he recreated the lab. He still goes back there. So I started thinking, you know what, this is not just a story. He's consistent. He remembers things, and he reiterates the same thing. I don't think kids would remember over weeks and months what they told me months ago.
Well, I've seen this actually in a few readings, or kids especially.
They're more open.
Well, and they're traveling and learning things that from another planet or wherever out there that they're going to be bringing to Earth.
Yeah, and
to create good things on Earth.
Yeah, and I think that's the generation. And I would, if anyone out there is a specialist in indigo, rainbow, crystal children, I'm looking to have you on my show. That's what I want to talk about. Is these children, I believe, are born for this age, the electronic age, and a lot of them, and we're going to talk about this later, a lot of them are, you know, associated with autism. My son has been diagnosed with autism. I don't necessarily believe that's really what he has. I believe he's extremely gifted, and when we talked in depth yesterday about this astral traveling, and I said to him, you know, what happens at this lab? Tell me all about, you know, because Mommy would love to go there with you. He says, Mommy, you're not allowed to come with me. He goes, if I tried to bring you with me, I wouldn't be able to go. So I said, well, can you tell me about it? He said, well, I have a best friend, and I believe this is his guardian angel. He says, my best friend is Stephen. And I said, you know what, I think he's probably your guardian angel here. And he said, no, Mommy, he's at the other plane. Yeah, that's what he said. He goes, no, he didn't use the word plane. He goes, no, he's at the lab. He's my best friend. He said he wears he goes, he wears, he's like this, you know, the doctors, I said, like a lab coat. Is it? He goes, yes, but it's not white, Mummy, it's silver.
Oh.
He said, and I said, well, what do you do? Do you invent things in the lab? He goes, no, I don't invent things. He goes, Stephen does. He invents everything. He goes, Mummy, he invented that little machine. It's the, you press this button here that it will not blow up. This will undo if you blow up your lab.
Oh, wow.
So it recreates the lab,
Yeah.
and Stephen does all the recreations. And I forget what my son said he did. He helps rebuild or something, but he works with Stephen, and it's fascinating. And I'm telling you, I believe it. And then it occurred to me, they told me that the reason I have a child with autism is he was brought into my life because I could give him what he needed.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, that's so true, but not because of autism. It's because I'm so open to these things. I'm going to nurture that side of him.
That's right.
And because he said, he goes, Mommy, I can't talk about this at school because they think I'm lying. I don't think he's lying.
No, he's not. No.
No.
And I've heard this other little boy, he's 9 or 10, I guess. Anyway, I saw a vision of this girl coming to his bed at nighttime and going off together. To this place. So she's another earthling who's going. And maybe
and
that's
taking her with. Oh, okay.
So where Stephen's from, it's hard to say.
He's a robot.
Yeah. Okay. This one little boy, he was going to. They showed me this glass house that he's going to be developing at some point on Earth, and it didn't need any outside heat source or air conditioning. It was just like out in the winter, and it was perfectly warm, and it had like it wasn't glass, it was something else, you know. But it was.
I was
totally,
gonna say, boy, you'd have to wear your clothes all the time.
No, it was like its own little eco-friendly. I don't know. It was amazing, and it was just from the sunlight, and then anyway, they just showed it to me very quickly. But that's what he's working on. To bring that.
See, I believe all this. I do. And I said to my son, I said, you know what? You should start recording all this. Write everything down. And he said, that's a good idea. I said, because when you go, I said, maybe this lab is not on a different plane. Maybe it's from the future. I said, maybe Stephen can invent the cure for cancer. Start writing stuff down and bringing it back with you. So I think if you have a child like this, it's very important to nurture that, because these children are our future, and they really are going to change the world.
They are.
You know, and he's only, just to let you know, he's only 8 years old. The things he comes out with from this lab and stuff, there's no way he would be able to do that.
No.
So you know, you can tell the difference between a dream and reality, even if it is on another plane.
Yeah.
So we're about almost at the point of wrapping up our show. If you have any questions, please chat them in now so that we can respond. Again, you're with Ask Your Angels talk show. We're on every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have a different guest every week. And this week we're with Jill Michelle, and we're doing Angelic Awakenings. I'm so glad you came out tonight.
I'm so glad I did too. So
is there anything you'd like to share, before we go?
If you...
Oh, hold it. We have a question. Sorry.
Sorry. Okay, I got to go back a bit because this asked a little while ago. When I was younger, I had a couple experiences between wake and asleep of something flying, biting, attacking my throat. Do you know what that was? I am not sure it was something evil or if there was something on the other side.
That almost sounds like a vampire, but
a
bat.
It doesn't sound good.
No. I mean, I've had things at night just before I fall asleep. I'm in that, what is it? Is it the theta state, or just before you, where I see objects above me, and usually they're flying around. It was explained to me that what you're doing at that point is you can actually see through the veil. You're seeing another dimension, and what appears to be flying over your head is actually ground level for them. But because we see it, it's up here, it looks to us like it's flying over our head. As for the biting, I don't know. It's probably not a good thing. I would suggest a clearing. Have someone in to
Definitely.
clear your house,
Clear
your
it.
bedroom. And we did crystal healing last week with Veronica. We'll have that video up soon, but she also talked about clearings and having certain stones or rocks by your bed if that ever happens again. We have another question.
Are angels purely based off intuition, or is there a physical proof?
Well,
It's like,
I would say it was a physical proof that I didn't get crushed by the horse.
yeah, there's, I mean, there's definitely stories that show that there are angels. If you go online and look up angels, and people have so many stories to share that it couldn't be anything but angels. But again, it comes down to faith and what you believe in. I mean, that's what I do. I do angel readings. I'm in contact with them all the time. So for myself, I say yes 100%. They are out there.
Absolutely. And lots of them. And more coming all the time.
Lots.
Always more. More always. Don't you find that?
Yes.
More and more.
The more we're awakening, the more angels are coming to us. We're drawing heaven down to earth. That's what we're doing. So, any other questions? No?
So I just wanted to say, if you wanted to visit my website at www.jillmichelle.ca, there's also workshops that I do that are created to help you become more intuitive, to help you, and there's another one that helps you to become more in tune with Mother Earth, so that you don't get left behind at the Ascension. And
Yeah, we don't want that.
No, we want as many people to come as we can, and that'll make the whole change so much easier.
And it's going to make our lives better too. Think about it. The more people that come, we're going to have all that positive energy around us. It's going to be a great place. Do we have another question?
Can angels bring physical objects into your presence?
Oh, I believe they can.
Yeah, I think so too. And they can take them away. For instance, this one woman called me and said, "My husband needs his passport. Can you tell me where it is?" As he was leaving, he was supposed to leave at noon that day to go on a flight. And they couldn't find it anywhere. He ended up having to go and to the passport office and get a temporary whatever. Anyway, it turned out the flight that he would have been on, had he found his passport, it was, the people, it almost crashed. It was a very, very stressful. They had, his friends were on it who were on going to the same conference. They had to actually put their heads down, between their knees and for crash landing. And it did land okay. It was pretty rough, but he didn't need to go through that experience. So I believe it was his angel who hid his passport.
Yeah,
definitely.
I have a story to share too for those of you who may not have seen this show where we talked about this, but we did have Marianne on our show, Marianne Grabowski, quite some time ago, and unfortunately a week later Marianne passed away from a brain aneurysm. But anyway, of course, needless to say, myself and a lot of people were mourning Marianne, and one afternoon I thought, I haven't slept well, I'm just going to go up and have a little bit of a lay down. I thought I need to feel that sunshine, that warmth. I left the window open, and all of a sudden this huge beam of light came in and just surrounded me, and I felt her presence, and I'm like, thank you. So that was one sign. When I had it was like a 20-minute nap. I felt really much better. I came downstairs, and I have a cabinet where I keep all my angel books, my cards, my crystals, like everything. This angel cabinet was moved out from the wall on one side. I was alone in the house, apart from my cat, and I can tell you right now, as phenomenal and special as I think my cat is, I don't think he moved it. And it's heavy, but it was moved out on one side, and when I went down to push it back, on the floor was a card that Marianne had given me when she was here.
Wow.
Yeah, it was came out of nowhere on the ground. I'm like, thank you, Marianne.
Yeah.
I knew she was in a good place, but I needed a sign. So yes, absolutely. They can work miracles for sure.
Definitely.
Do we have any other questions? No? Okay, so we're going to sign out. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, you're with Ask Your Angels. We're on every Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This was a special show today. I thank Jill for coming back. And
Thank you for having me.
yeah, and please visit her website, www.jillmichelle.ca. Ask Your Angels Talk Show. Please follow us on Twitter, check out our blog, and find us on Facebook. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.